Well, we are live once again with a new episode of Coffee with Humans with my soon-to-be new friend, Lynne Karlowich. Lynne, welcome to Coffee with Humans.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, so we got to get one thing out of the way. For our new viewers and listeners, I don't know Lynne at all. We have talked about almost nothing for the past maybe 10 minutes, doing some tech checks, and you had a very critical question for me, which was, what are we going to talk about? And then I snapped back at you and I was like, hey, you named this learning to go with the flow, and now I see why. So welcome to Coffee with Humans, where we don't even know what we're going to talk about. But I did prep you, and I said, the first question is, why would you do this? What would possess a person to click a button to have coffee with me, a complete stranger? Go.
I follow you on TikTok, and I absolutely love your saying all the time, be your own best friend. Be your own best friend. Love that. So, and then your ad for Coffee with Humans came up. So I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a try. See what he's all about. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm happy that you clicked with that phrase, be your best friend today, because it slipped out of my mouth. I was just walking down the street doing a TikTok video, and I was like, be your best friend today. And I thought, wow, that's something. And then I did a follow-up video on how important it is.
It is. You have to be comfortable with your own company. I love my own company. Which made me click on your TikTok account.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I think it is important to be comfortable with your own company as well. You're the only person that you spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. You are the only person you can't get away from.
This is
for
true.
The rest of your life. Yeah, maybe true, but if we can't be comfortable with our own selves, it's very difficult to be comfortable with anybody else, because we're always filtering that. We're always viewing ourselves, I think, through our own insecurities. And and even if you are comfortable with yourself, it's like awareness of insecurities, not a non-existence of insecurities.
That's right. Yes. To be able to enjoy your company throughout the day, even spend a whole weekend just by yourself. It's good for self-reflection, good for building self-development. Yes, I do enjoy that. And gratitude, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, I did the weekend thing away. Boy, might have been September, camping.
Oh,
went camping all by my lonesome next to a river. And oh my gosh, it was.
So were you in a tent, or were you?
I was in a tent. I did the glamping. I did the glamping thing. We used to have a huge pop-up trailer, microwave, oven, shower, all that stuff. And I don't have those things anymore. So I do a tent. I do a tent with myself. Or if somebody happens to join me, but usually I've got a tent there, and this was a particularly warm night, and so I had the rain fly off, and so it was just the screen-like material, and I was so hot, and so at one point in time I was buck naked, just laying there, so hot, and somebody else parked their tent just not all that far from me, and they had a dog that was unkennelled and untamed, and it was like beelining over to me, and I was like, I just got screen material. They're running after their dog. It's now up on my tent. I'm buck naked. And I thought, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with myself. That's what I thought to myself. And I thought, why not?
Did you have to get out of the tent naked?
Well, so funny story. They ended up calling the dog, and it came over to them as they were very quickly approaching my tent. They were like in the red zone. I don't even know. Yeah, you get it. And so then in the middle of the night, it was going to rain. All of a sudden, I hear this. You know how you hear thunder from way far off, and there's a little bit of lightning, and so hotter than hell, buck naked, no rain fly on my tent, and so in the middle of the night, I got out of that tent, and I hurried around, rushed around, and got my rain fly on as it began to pour rain. So yeah, it's a good time.
Were your neighbors awake at this point?
Well, I was camp. I don't know. Fortunately they were 3 campsites down. I mean, they were a good long way down.
Up in the middle of the night and head on the heck out.
Yeah. Oh man, it was actually a lot of fun. I read a great book. Can't remember what the book was, but it was a really good book.
Yeah.
And then it's had some times for self-reflection.
Yeah.
But it was good. I really enjoy connecting with nature. There's something about it just like centers our souls in some way, I think.
It really does. And especially by a creek too, the sound of the water. It's almost it's therapeutic, definitely. Yeah. Good for you. That's awesome. I only did tent camping with my kids, and they were quite young. That's not so therapeutic. I mean, it's good for the kids. It was a ton of fun, but it wasn't very therapeutic.
Yeah, I remember the tent camping with kids days, and then and then we had a big pop-up camper and went and dragged the kids around. We ended up, when we had the pop-up, we ended up doing 2 summers for about a month and a half in the pop-up, just tooling around different states and
good,
celebrating life.
No, that's important. Absolutely. So what state are you in?
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't eat. Thank you. We didn't get there yet. Yeah. I'm in Illinois.
Okay. I haven't been to Illinois, but there's some beautiful states down there that I have visited. Absolutely. Idaho is another one. Oh my God, that's a beautiful state.
Well, if you're familiar with cornfields, just imagine cornfields. That's Illinois.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's cornfields. Just everywhere you look, it's cornfields. And then there are cities in the middle of cornfields, in towns in the middle of cornfields. That's, if you can imagine that, you've done it. You don't even have to come here.
I still would check it out. It might not be on my priority list, but I still would check it out.
Chicago's fun. I mean, Chicago's got a lot of stuff going on, and it's next to Lake Michigan, which feels not like an ocean.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big city. So TikTok, you found me on TikTok.
I did. Yes. That is one of the most addicting platforms. Seriously.
Well, they just passed it's more traffic than Google now.
Is it? Really?
Yeah. It's the most popular website.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's quite interesting. Something of all sorts on TikTok, that's for sure. Yes. And I often think, I should do one of these TikTok dances. Never get up the nerve enough to do that. I practice them though, but I never do them.
Last year, my daughter, last year she would have been 14. No, 15. She would have been 15 still. She tried to teach me some dances, or maybe it was 2 years ago. And that was I can dance, but I can't dance. Like,
you know what? As long as you're dancing, it's therapy for me. Absolutely. Whenever I start getting frustrated or anything, I crank the music and I dance. And my roommate now knows this, and she joins in with me.
Well, maybe you should record something and throw it up on TikTok just because you can.
I actually did, but it's not, I just don't want to share that one.
It's part of learning to go with the flow, I think. I mean, I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, exactly.
A growth. That's your growth path, right? I mean, now it's we have to do TikTok dances.
Yeah, dancing and singing. It's good for the soul. It's so good for the soul.
True story. So this whole learning to go with the flow thing. Why is this the topic that's on your mind? How'd you get to this point?
Because you know what, we talked briefly just before this interview, and I was saying, we're at a place in my life that I never would have ever suspected that I would be in. Not that I'm unhappy, because I'm not. I'm actually extremely, extremely happy. But I now live with one of my best friends. Never in all of anything that I would have thought that would have happened. But I have to say, it is absolutely awesome. We get along very well. I can't actually imagine not living with her now, even though it's only been like 8 months. It's like the
Okay.
perfect marriage. The only thing lacking is sex.
Well,
It
that's a big
truly
one.
is. It truly is. It's she's pretty great. So and that so you know what? Just looking back and everything that's happened, I think now we just have to go with the flow. We just whatever comes our way, take it, inhale it, do what you can with it, and keep moving forward. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's a positive, right? As long as it's a positive.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
suppose so. And some of the things that appear to be negative um, end up end up creating something good. If I think if we can embrace them in that way.
That's right. Yeah. There's only growth that's going to happen when you're tired of your own shit. So
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about. You have to be comfortable with your own skin. You're the only person that you are going to spend the rest of your life with, and
that's
you
right.
just can't escape. And too
Mhm.
often, I think we find ourselves in patterns where we are trying to escape ourselves as
Yeah.
though it could be accomplished,
Yeah.
and packing down the shit, and it doesn't leave us. It just
No, it
finds a
doesn't
new
either.
place to hide.
That's
you
right.
know,
And you know what? And then you kind of keep yourself really, really busy. So you don't have to go there, right?
yeah.
But then you take a step back and realize what you're doing. And it's like, okay, just take a moment and inhale the moment. And I think that's one of my worst things, though. I'm always thinking way ahead, not in just sitting and enjoying the moment, getting better at it, but not sitting and
Why do you
enjoying.
think so? From and you feel free to ask questions of me. I'm not just here to pepper you, drain all of your intelligence out of you in this moment. I'm gonna suck all the wisdom I can, and then press end. No, but
Talk.
I've got it all. I've done
Yeah.
it. I'm curious. Why do you have that tendency to live off into the future?
Um, you know what? That is a really good question, and I'm stumped on that one. I'm stumped on that one. I don't know why I keep like it's just stop, stop, and even with my work and stuff like that, I have to remind myself to sit and listen a lot more,
Hmm.
right? Because I'm thinking about what I'm going to be talking about next, and that's although when I'm with my family and with my friends, no, that I'm definitely in the moment. Absolutely. Again, depends, I guess, depends on who you're with. But yeah, but you're always in the moment with that. But anything else, it's moving, I'm always way over here and not here where I should be. Hmm.
Sure,
Yeah.
because
And I don't
the
know why.
reason it resonates with me. Excuse me.
You're like me. It's like, this is
Ah!
COVID.
The reason it resonates with me is because I have often had that tendency. Part of it is my creative energy. I can create, do, and I enjoy it. Almost as if, and I'm not sure if this is totally true. I think the dark side of it, kind of the shadow side of the tendency, is that what if, what if, if all I have is enough? Have I done enough? Have I used my skills appropriately well enough? Have I accomplished enough? And the fact that question sits there almost begs the answer of no, you haven't.
Mhm. No,
Instead of
absolutely.
just relaxing and going, you know what? It's going to be enough. I'm totally enough. Everything I've done, just where I'm at right in this moment, it's totally enough. And if I can believe that, and I think I've done a reasonably good job in the recent years of believing that, then I can slow down the creative process and allow life to unfold and feel more connected to myself and to others.
Yeah, true enough. I don't look at it like I look at it as no, I haven't done enough. I haven't gone to the places and been where I want to be. I haven't been there yet. So I think maybe that's why I keep moving forward like that. Yeah. I am enough. I totally agree. I am enough. And you know what I have is enough, but I haven't accomplished enough. I think that's where I'm at. Yes. I haven't accomplished enough. Go, go, go.
Right.
Yeah.
Which then the question is, but what if you have?
I don't feel I have. No. I'm not ready to stop and be settled with what I've done so far. There's so much more, there's so much more that I want to do. Absolutely.
So I'm curious. I'm going to throw your your contact information up here on Rapid Boost Marketing. What have you not? What do you do, and what has not been enough?
With work or with anything?
Well, I mean, however you want to slice and dice that, because I feel like the two. I don't think I don't think we can easily separate.
No, that's true. That's true.
We do pretend like we can separate those two things, but I think that screws us all up in newfound ways when we're like, well, I'm my work self over here, and my personal self over here, and the two never speak to one another because it's just not true.
That's just not true. No. There's so many different things that I still want to explore as to what I know I can do that I haven't had the guts to do yet, I guess you could say. Right?
Okay.
I'm still getting over the fear of doing that. I've just been reading a lot of books and a lot of self-awareness. I'm in a self-awareness course right now. And it's really helps, but there's so many places of Lynne that I want to explore yet. So yeah, and I'm very excited. I'm not ready to settle with what I've done so far. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had my moments, where it's been like slow and I've kind of stopped for a little bit and I've lost that momentum, I guess you could say. Yes, I've had numerous moments like that. But and looking back on those makes me just want to continue and not have those again. I like that momentum. As soon as that comes back into flow with me, because I do lose that track every now and then. As soon as that comes back into flow with me, it's exciting. It's like, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ready. Yeah. Too.
That's interesting. I felt those moments too, where things it's kind of the ebb, right? It's the ebb part of the flow. And I've often fought those. I fought against them because it felt like not making progress. Instead of, well, what I've discovered, at least about myself, is I have newfound respect for the ebb because I'm so good at overusing the flow. And kind of like getting lost in the creativity, like, hey, we can create, we can discover. And just being able to sit in the ebb and go like, hey, you know what's nice? The sunrise. You know what's nice? The sunset. And what's nice is, walking along, I took a picture the other day. I take a couple walks a day.
Yes, and
yes, I walk like 9 miles a day.
Good for you.
Yeah. It gets my anxious energy out. There's stories behind that.
Your head, doesn't it? Yes,
it does, and it allows me to focus. And actually, I talk with God a lot, and we have great conversations. And there was concrete, and there was a crack in it, right? Because concrete develops crack, and and there were there was moss, and there were little plants overtaking the concrete. And I took a picture of it, and what was going through my mind at the time was all of this very slowly is sort of just consumed. All the stuff that we can create, as soon as we just put pause on it, all the stuff that is just starts taking over. Mm-hmm. And very slowly and very and very colorfully, it's amazing. And we didn't do it. It just becomes like all of our stuff is just taken back to the earth. And And there's a beauty to that, and kind of like oh, you know what I could do? I could just look at that for just a moment and go, yeah, I could create lots of stuff in this moment, but I could just appreciate the fact that the earth is beautiful, and in all my creative energies, it'll all be sucked back in, sucked back away at some point in time. Serves a purpose for a moment, and then the moment is gone. Not making it meaningless, but I don't know. It's just like, okay, the ebb is take the walk. Oh my gosh, let me just pause for a moment and look at this thing, that is undoing the stuff that we did.
It's a constant reminder, your head just goes. And even when I'm outside walking, because I do walk a lot as well, your head just goes. But you have to take a moment and like check out what's around you. Yes. And like you said, the plants that are growing through the cracks and things like that. These are beautiful little things, right?
I think so.
Oh, absolutely. So where do you focus your creativity on?
I've done so much stuff historically, right? So I've been a musician. I've got some songs that I produced and sold for a little bit. I didn't sell a lot, and I didn't intend to, but I wrote some songs. I've led 400. I've preached in three different churches while having a full-time job building an e-commerce company that sold air conditioning and heating products online to consumers. I was a programmer. I've done sales and marketing stuff. I was a sales manager for some stuff. I've consulted with hundreds of entrepreneurs. I've worked with large, billion-dollar corporations and done deals and stuff. I've done so much stuff in a very short period of time, and and so by like not being present almost to my own life, I was just like, and then that caught up to me. And so now now I'm kind of in the ebb moment. I'm like, all right, hold on a minute. Just stop all this for just a moment. And it's like, and now it's almost the experimentation phase. So I was sort of down on the TikTok thing. I was like, I cannot believe all the time people waste on this thing.
True enough.
But then I was like, but I got things to say. And when I say them one-on-one, they seem to be valuable. So let me say them to the masses. And then, so I put it out there, and this month by doing a video almost once a day, not quite, I've gained 2,000 something followers. So now I'm up to 3,200 followers or something like that as of today.
So with all of these accomplishments that you've done and all of these different people that you've worked with and stuff, are you at a place in your life where you think you've done enough, you've accomplished enough, and you're good? Like you're good?
No.
Good. Okay.
No, not at all. There was a moment I retired back in 2011-ish timeframe. Retired for a little while, and then I started doing stuff, and I didn't take enough time in that, and I didn't reflect enough. I was a little bit younger, and I was like, I can do this again, and I started getting the rat race, and created a whole other rat race of stuff I didn't want and couldn't manage. And I should have respected the ebb a little bit longer. And so now I'm in this, I'm like, okay, I'm ebbing a little bit. And now I feel like, okay, it's time to double down and start moving ahead again. But now in more thoughtful, more pointed, more leveraged, more influential, greater scale, rather than just like, I could do that, and just doing it. It's given me a lot of experience, a lot of connections, but I refuse to live the rat race life. I won't do it again.
You won't do it again. So
Not
explain more about this ebb thing to me.
Okay. The ebb. It's kind of like going on vacation, right? So when you go on vacation, life doesn't shut off. It just changes form.
Mm-hmm.
And the mornings are a little bit later, and the evenings are a little bit later. And the amount of stuff you do, you're very choosy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like, hey, are we going to go to the zoo today? Maybe not. Let's do it tomorrow. instead of like, I got to go to the zoo today, and I got to do this today, and I got to do this today, and I got to do that today. And then by the time you make it to the evening time, you're just like, well, guess I got to get up to go again tomorrow and hope for the weekend, And I think the that life is a mirage of life. It feels like life, and yet nobody likes it. So it can't possibly be the real thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a really good point. Yes. I know there are some weeks. This week is one of them. There's something booked all the time. It's like it's just nonstop, right? Yeah. And you think that that's truly what, and it's mostly the evenings I've got. It's just nonstop. But, and you think that's what life is. But you know what? You reach a Sunday afternoon and it's like, okay, where did that go? What did I do?
Right.
What did I accomplish? What the hell happened this past week? Yeah.
Right? We have ourselves duped into all sorts of ways of operating that are we created them, or we allowed them into our lives. Mm-hmm. But they're just made up. They're just made up rules. I mean, it would have been unheard of. I mean, let's use COVID as an example. Let's rewind the clock. Just 2 short years. It would have been heresy to say, what we're going to do? We're going to probably shut down most of the world for a period of time, and we're just going to pay people to stay home. Mm-hmm. Who would have ever but people would be like, that's bullshit. And the news media would have been like, he's a crazy man.
Yes.
Oh my God, we can do it? Oh, well, why not? Why have we not been doing this the whole time?
Yeah.
Right? And and the laws by which we operate, when we view it under that microscope of, wait a second, the whole world just turned on its head in a moment. Why? Because we faced our own mortality? When have you not faced your own mortality? You just don't think it exists. So we just keep operating as though it doesn't exist. And then when we get to the end, we're like, oh my God, I've talked to well over 200 people on Coffee with Humans now. And when I talk to the older folks, sometimes the what they'll say is very profound. One lady, I think she's in South Africa, she said, what I wish I would have just followed my heart more. That's the one thing I wish I would have done, just followed my heart, because it didn't, I tried to do this and I did this for those people. I did these because I thought it was the right thing, yada, yada. But, I want to do this because it's just in my heart and I was afraid or whatever. I just wish I would have followed my heart. How come everybody gets to the end and there's a handful of lessons that fall out? One is like, I wish I would have followed my heart, and I wish I would have just been kind. Mm-hmm. What? Yeah. You mean that's the big clarifier? Facing your own death, you're just like, you know what? Let's be nice and let's do the things we want to do.
Right off the get-go, right? But you're right. But your world and your life just kind of takes over. It's just like, sometimes when you're driving, I get lost in my thoughts, and then I get home and I think to myself, holy crap, did I stop at that stop sign? Did I go through that red light? It's like, because you don't have a recollection of that drive you just did, because your mind is everywhere but where it should be, right in front of you, right? Yeah,
which is a blessing and a curse, right? So there's something like 35,000 decisions a person makes in a given day. And we only remember a handful of them because our lives become largely habitual.
35,000 in a day, did you just say?
Yeah.
Holy man. Okay. That's an eye-opener right there.
The vast majority, right, exactly. The vast majority of it is habitual. Mm-hmm. And it becomes more a habit breeds a habit breeds a habit. Like we grow these habits in our lives, and our futures are made of our current habits. Mm-hmm. Right? That's why I think it's John Maxwell who said something like, well, I can tell you where you're going to be a year from now. I'll spend one day with you. I'll tell you exactly where you're going to be a year from now. Because you will be exactly the place that you keep creating today. Mm-hmm. It's all habitual. And without habits, we wouldn't know what to focus on. Mm-hmm. We'd be like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I have to get up. Well, that means left leg. I do the left leg, and then I do the right leg, and then they hit the ground, and then I stand, and then I go wandering for, the bathroom. Yeah. Okay. And we'd have all of these decisions, but they're all made because our bodies are just taking care of us.
Habitual part of it. Yep.
Right. Absolutely. And then when something turns and we change it, we have the opportunity to create something that's outside of habit. Sometimes we don't see it because it's not within our scope. of view.
Mhm.
That's well proven. Um, and then sometimes we do see it and we are like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this? And we go, oh, well, I'm afraid of that or this person or this other thing or, you know, but if I play chess with this decision, then 10 years from now, this how it could play out. So let's not do that, even though I want to do it. And we get ourselves bound up and we just revert, boom, back to the habits. And then, like you talk about, like on a Sunday afternoon, you're like, wow, that weekend went really fast because it was a habitual weekend.
It takes 21 days to create a new habit. But when you think about it, it's like, because we're so habitual and I can be such a creature of habit, I think about 21 days and it's like, whoo, I got to change that part of me for 21 days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And people want to change. I mean, everybody talks about changing, but most people don't change their circumstances.
This is very true.
But our circumstances are built in our habits. We became, it's like laying in a memory foam life, right? We just like got stuck in this memory foam and it's like all built up around us. And then you're like, I'd like to move. It's like memory foam goes slowly back to normal. And so you try and move, you're like, well, that's uncomfortable. Of course it is. Yeah. Because your life is molded around who you became. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to do something different, you got to either throw away the pillow, or the memory foam mattress, right? Or the memory foam life in this case, right? Or you have to live with the discomfort and allow the memory foam to slowly mold to your new life. Mm-hmm. Like people want to be entrepreneurs, but they never hang around entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. You got to hang around with the like-minded people. 100%.
Absolutely. 100%. Mm-hmm. You become the average. I think of what's the saying? You become the average of the 5 people you hang around with.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, if you want to be somebody different, you got to change who you're hanging around with. And that, oh, shoot, that's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
You know, how do you leave behind? Because even when you're moving to something that's good for you, it's still pain and grief and loss. Mm-hmm. And so you grieve, you're like, oh my gosh, I used to have these people and they used to be in my life. Yeah, but you don't. That's not who you are anymore. And so the memory foam life shifted. It changed.
Yeah. Yeah. You're now.
And are you okay with that?
Yes. And you're okay with that after those certain amount of days. Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's where, you know, back to your, I mean, we think we got there from the question, what about the ebb? You know, back to your topic of like learning to go with the flow. Well, that's like, okay, am I comfortable with the discomfort? And when I was thrust out of the memory foam life to a new place, can you sit there and go like, wait a second, I know that there's something around here. I have to build new habits. I have to build new structures to be able to make it through life. Mm-hmm. And then there's an opportunity in all that. Okay, what do you want to do? And how do you want to do it? And you build it. But we have that decision every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And why do you want to do it too, right? That's
sure.
Huge importance. Yeah. Yeah.
So why are you on TikTok? Feel like I'm putting you on the spot. You can ask, I mean, and you got the hang of it. You can ask me questions too. This is dialogue, not a monologue.
Yeah. Well, TikTok, you know what? My kids just kept sending me these little funny things on TikTok. And I just kept denying it. I'm not doing it. Finally, I got on there. It's not that I regret it. It's just, you know, now there's a little bit more screen time in the evenings.
Right? Yeah. Yes. Well, and my daughter used to send me TikToks as well. And they were the funny ones. And then one day I started like, oh my God, these are funny. And then, but then I was like, I need to start putting stuff out there because I put a ton of content out there in various forms through the years. But I thought, you know what, I just get over my whole like social media is bad thing. And I started creating the TikToks. There was one video, I looked at the analytics, a collective 191 hours of that one video has been consumed.
Really?
191 hours. If you gather all of the 15,000 people or whatever who saw it, watched it, 191 hours. It's like, what? That's a lot of people time.
Yeah. So what drew you to make your first post on there? Because I'm not a poster. I don't create posts and I'm not a poster. But what drew you to do, you know, be your own best friend today?
Well, I think in snippets. a lot of times. So I'll be walking along, or you and I'll have a conversation. I said memory foam life,
Yeah.
right? First time ever I've said memory foam life. It just seemed to make sense.
Yeah.
And I guarantee probably later today, whether I post it today or I post it a week from now, there will be something about memory foam life. Yeah. Why? Because I felt it was meaningful to me. And I got over the idea a long time ago that somehow because it's meaningful to me, it's not meaningful to anyone else. Because that would be it's meaningful to me, but there's nobody like me. Nobody wants to listen to that. It doesn't make any sense. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, there's actually a lot of people like me out in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so,
yes, absolutely.
Say something, whatever's on your mind. And I happened to make things that I think they were valuable to me. They made sense to me. So throw them out there and I'm a pretty spiritual person, and so I throw it out there and say, well, let God put it together. I'm just going to create it and put it out there. And if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, fine, whatever. I'm not going to sweat it.
Yeah.
It also clarifies things for me. It's like a process.
Okay.
It's part of my learning process to speak it out, because then I start to go, oh, that's what I meant. And I'll filter it and think it through. And then I'll start practicing with other people and go, here's something I was thinking.
Okay. That's good, because, when you have a conversation with somebody, after the conversation, you go, oh, I could have said this, and I wanted to ask this. I should have said this. So that makes sense. If you're getting it out there, yeah. And it helps you to clear it up. Yeah.
I think also because, and I don't know if this is true, you'd have to ask other people, but I have a feeling, I have a sneaky feeling that because I've lived with so much of the create, think 10 years ahead type, or 10 moves ahead at least mindset, and not be present to the moment, I probably annoyed close friends and family by instead of getting out all these things I wanted to say, like on TikTok or on Coffee with Humans, I got it out on them. And they were probably right. And they were probably like, oh my God, can we just have dinner? Why do you have to be like, why has it got to be so complicated?
Do we have to really go down that road? Well, you know what? You're bringing them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, but nobody wants that around dinner. Or like, and listen, there was somebody who said it to me, something like, everything doesn't have to be like some deep lesson. And I was like,
very true.
What I wanted to say back was like, I think there's a lesson in that, but I didn't say it.
No, I actually can. I see where you're coming from, because all the stuff that's happened in my life, I always say there's a lesson in it. There's a lesson in it. Definitely a lesson. What is that lesson?
And that's part of the ebb. Just allowing the lesson to work its way into the subconscious, instead of being like, oh, here's the thing I'm going to take from that, that experience. Like, boy, I really, screwed that up, and let's like dissect it and do the aftermath and such. Like, why don't you just sit down and just know that 3 years from now, you're going to look back on this moment. You'll be like, wow, I'm transformed. That really changed me.
That goes back to go with the flow, because it
right?
will come back to you. And then you'll have the light bulb go, okay, now that makes sense. Yes.
Exactly. That's why I really love the learning to go with the flow, because I think a lot of people have trouble with it. And probably, one of the things you want to talk, where you mentioned in your thing, learn to date in your 50s. Well, okay, so fine, in your 50s, like that's a whole nother level of, reconsideration of life and thinking, and, who am I? Where am I headed? I'm 44, so I know a little bit about it.
Yes, absolutely. We're in the same kind of age group, maybe. Yes. Yeah, it's good. It's good times dating in your 50. I'll tell you that.
It's not even worth it. It's like,
no, it's just not. No,
it's too much. It's too much work.
It is.
I think.
Is a lot of work.
That's a lot of effort.
And you
you
think,
know,
at our age, like that kind of drama would be gone, and exactly what you want. Well, I know exactly what I want. It's just, it's not out there. So this comes back to going with the flow. You know what? When it's my time, it will be my time. And right now it
right?
is not.
I have great respect for that, for
Yeah,
sure. The best things that have ever happened in my life are the unexpected things.
that's very, very true. That's very true. Yeah.
I mean, I got married at a very young age,
Yeah, same.
because we ended up being pregnant. That was not expected. Um,
Surprise!
and right, and we had a great life. We had a very, very, very good life. And throughout that, my business that came along that did very well for us, that was unexpected. And the opportunities that we had, unexpected. Being able to travel, unexpected. All of these things were unexpected. We just embraced them. And I
Nice.
think there's a special magic in taking the unexpected things of life and going, wow, that's a gift. If we saw the unexpected things as gifts and then held on to them as such, I'm kind of sort of a sentimental person. I have a hard time throwing things away, especially gifts, right?
100%.
If we accepted them as gifts, I think that we would, yeah, I know, at least for me, the unexpected things, I've embraced them as gifts and used them as such. And it's done well for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where the gratitude comes in. You got to take, because there is a gift that happens every single day. But, it may take us a couple days to realize, okay, that's right. That happened on Monday. You know what? That was pretty special because we get get carried away. We keep going, keep going, keep going. But it does come back to us, and definitely grateful for those moments. Absolutely, unexpected is the best gifts ever. Hmm. Yes.
Mm, yes. It doesn't feel like it sometimes. Sometimes it's some
No, no.
I mean, there have been some unexpected things. I was like, I didn't want that. But
Okay, those kind of unexpected things. Yeah, no, I really wasn't interested in that.
right.
Why didn't
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
And that gets back to like, okay, well, like you talked about, you go with the flow, let things unfold. And I have a very hard time, particularly with people, people that I want to influence, who I care about. A real hard time letting them go with the flow. I want to be like, let me intervene here because I can figure it out for you. Instead of just being like, how about I just let you be you? I
exactly.
don't know how to do
And
that.
you learn your own lessons. Yes. Mhm. Yeah. I
But
know.
that's my new lesson.
I have adult children too, but and same thing. Had my kids very young, but we grew up together. We grew up
Mhm.
together. So, and you're right. Sometimes you just want to go. Well, let me just figure that out for you. Let me just do that for you. But no, they have to figure it out the same way we did, right? We all have to figure it out somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I find the things, I mean, this is cliche. I don't even know why I'm saying it, but I am more patient than I've ever been.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah. Life has brought about some patience in me. Uh, I used to be very impatient. I went through a period of time of high levels of impatience.
Oh, really? And yeah, even though just I've known you 40 minutes. I find that hard to believe because and even on your posts and stuff, you're very calm. Your voice is soothing, so that's surprising.
That's
That's actually very surprising.
Well, and that's really interesting because I did a post about it not all that long ago that two people in the past week had remarked on my spirit and energy, and I was like, this is really interesting. Yeah, I'm not the same. The level of my level of peace in my life has increased dramatically in the past 3 years.
That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
And that's actually why I'm afraid. I'm actually a little bit afraid when, like you're like, well, have you accomplished enough? And I was like, no, I haven't. I'm actually afraid of getting back to that because I don't want to. I need to make sure that that's integrated. Whatever comes is integrated with also a peaceful soul.
Right. Yes.
And I'm super afraid that because I know exactly how to get myself into like, I'm going to do. And it's just like,
you're mindful of it right now. So,
yeah.
So when it actually does happen, or if it starts to happen, you're already mindful of it. So you'll bring it down, I'm sure.
I don't know. I'm scared of it. I'm scared of it. It worries me.
Yeah.
I mean, there are, I'm sure for you too, there are things that you know about yourself that you're like, ooh, like, I don't want that to come out, even if it's a good thing.
True enough, right? True enough.
Creative energy is a good thing, but I can totally misuse that creative energy.
Yeah.
And I'm just afraid of it.
Don't be afraid of it. Go with the flow.
Well, that's why I do. Yeah, right. Well, that's why I do. So what I've started doing is like slowly do things. So it's like I started doing TikTok, and it's like, okay. And then I started doing some little, and I got like now I'm wearing my cowboy hat. That was my gift to myself for my 44th birthday. 10 years in the making. I wanted a cowboy hat more than a decade ago.
Well done.
And I passed it up. I passed it up in a store in Estes Park, Colorado, and I had instant regret when I left the store. And I tried to go back and get it online and through phone calls and that type of stuff. Could never really find it. And then it was just like, whatever. And then for my 44th birthday, I was like, screw it. I'm just going to buy a couple cowboy hats on Amazon and figure out which ones I like. And so I've got a couple of them. And now then I went to Nashville a week ago or something like that. And now I've got real honest good as cowboy boots.
Yep.
And I look stellar as a cowboy.
So
I'm gonna own it.
On top of your pants or underneath your pants?
Underneath the pants. What are you talking about? The women wear them on top or something like that. I don't know. They have to it's like a fashion statement.
I bought a pair of cowboy boots there too when we went, and yeah, everybody wears them on top of the pants. All the women do. Yes.
Well, if I ever become a woman, maybe I'll wear them on top pants. But for now, I'm going to wear them under my pants. But they look great, and I'm proud of myself. And the way it's like I'm proud of myself as a 44-year-old guy. It was like, you know what? But that's been my mindset. Like I'll just recreate this thing. I'll recreate me and how I want to be in this moment.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that long ago. I actually grew this stuff out. It's like 2015 or something. I kind of grew this out and I had it spiked up for some ungodly reason.
So did good friends smarten you up or what?
No. Family and friends weren't like, wow, that looks like shit. Instead they let me buy goo, hair goo. And I look, and there's a video of me online in Albania. I was teaching some stuff in Albania, and I look at this video now. I'm just like, oh, what? Your friends and family need to be more honest with you. It looks terrible.
I have a pact that if we ever see ourselves or see each other, with a bad haircut or bad clothes, it's like, stop, go up there and change that because that does not look good.
Yeah, for sure. You got to gather around yourselves. Yeah. People who will help guide you.
Yes.
Right. And that's one of my requirements going forward. It's like, okay, I need people who will keep me out of these blind spots. Yeah. Fashion might be a blind spot for me. And then hey, your energy, wow, dude, relax for a moment and allow people to speak, whatever it is, we need people because, back to tying a lot of stuff up. It's if we are creatures of habits and we start living this memory foam life, which just kind of conforms to us, we need somebody outside of our life to look at us and go, wow, you really conform to that thing. But I can tell you, it doesn't look good on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's not who you want to be.
Yeah.
You know, Jason, are you sure about that? Right. And then be able to listen.
Exactly. Have you thought about this, Jason? Yeah. I
It's
have
like when
people like that in my life, and they do. They help me out with that.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yes. And likewise as well. So
Yeah. It reminds me of the conversation I had with my boys when they were listening. They're 22 and 21 right now, but back in their teenage years, 16, let's say, when they're driving around in their cars, they would turn on some horrendously bad, to me, music. And I remember, and we had a good enough relationship that'd be like, Dad, listen to this song. And I was like, ooh, wow, that hurts my heart. And I told him at one point in time, I was like, okay, well, you can listen to what you want to listen to, but if you think that listening to this music is turning you into the man that you want to be, then continue to listen to it. But if it's not, reconsider it.
Okay, that's a great way to put it. Yes. Yeah.
Because I knew I couldn't control it. You know, it's like, you're going to drive around. You're going to drive around and listen to whatever you want to listen to. So it's useless for me to go like, you shouldn't listen to that. It makes no sense.
100%.
You know, will serve to only frustrate me. So
it's all in the wording. All in the wording. Always. Yes.
Yeah, we need people around us who are willing to do that for us.
Yeah.
Are you sure that that's turning you into the person you want to be?
So true.
Maybe you should do that as part of your dating in your 50s thing. You should just go out with random people, be like, ask them, and then like key in on one little small detail, and be like, "Are you sure that's turning you into the person you want to be?" And then just like let it fall, and see. They're just like,
yeah.
Who is she? Gee whiz! Who invited you to this party?
Actually, I had a meeting this morning with my business coach, and the same thing. Like, oh, he's such a doll. But you know what? He says, treat some of the questions that you work with some of your clients as if you're asking your dates, and vice versa. Ask your dates, some of the questions that you would ask some of your clients. I'm like, oh, that actually probably would work like a hot damn. It would be, especially for the dating. Okay, good talk. Nice to meet you. I'm out.
Exactly. I think I can make it to the show if I leave now. Well, have you heard of? I don't know what they call it now. There's some new. I don't know. There's some new dating fad going around. Basically, you list out a bunch of questions on the first. Like, it's the first date, and you're just like, here's the 7 questions I have for you, and you just like check them all off. So you eliminate all the small talk, and you're just like, we've got these questions done, and now we can figure out if we should have small talk. Which seems a little weird to me, but at the same time, it's like, that's pragmatic.
It is. You know what? That's the truth. Okay, so the last guy I was talking to, I just said, you know what? I'm so done with the small talk. Like, I'm just so done with the small talk. I'm sick of introducing myself. Here's the thing. And then, and you're right. I gave him a list of questions, and he's like, okay, this is good. This is good. You got to get past that, because I'm so beyond that. And I think people at our age dating at this age, we're so beyond that now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The last thing I want to do is go sit at a bar and be like, oh, what are we going to talk about now? It's just like, oh my God. And I, fortunately, I've got this real quick filter that goes around. So it's like, are you annoying? And if you are at the least annoying, like the tiniest little bit of annoying, I'm just not going to talk to you at all. There's no point.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, could I stand to listen to you for the next, let's say, 30 years?
Yeah.
If I couldn't, there's 0 point. There's 0 point.
Exactly.
It's like,
yeah. I went on a indoor golf date. This is a while ago, but I love golfing. I absolutely love golfing. Okay. So, and he's swinging, but he's giving me instruction as he's, telling me what he's doing. And I'm standing there going, I don't think I could ever golf with you. So you're out.
Right? Exactly. Let me have you destroy one of my favorite hobbies.
Yeah, exactly. That's my happy place. That does not make me happy.
Right? Totally. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think yeah, for me now, for me now, it's just like, you know what? This, like we talked about, it's like, it's too much work. It's just a lot of effort. I'm just live my life, do my thing. And if something comes along, I'll expect it. Unexpectedly. That's what I'm waiting for. It's like,
Exactly.
it will come. It'll be unexpected. I'll go with the flow.
Yeah.
And then, like, because that's what has happened to me up to this point. Why should I expect the future to be different?
That's right.
Why do I
And
have to
when
manage
happens, it's like, oh, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Although we both know relationships are work. So,
oh, for sure. Relationships that work. It's just, the meeting part.
yeah. Right. Then we'll be like, are you worth the work?
And that is a question we need to ask. Absolutely.
We'll have to ask that on the next Coffee with Humans. Are you worth the work? That seems like a deep. Well, maybe I should do a TikTok on. Maybe you should do a TikTok on. Are you worth the work?
Are you worth the work? Gonna write that down.
Yeah, I bet you would have something to say about that, wouldn't you?
Oh, I do.
Wow. Well, I don't know where you're going to go with that. I'm reasonably worth the work, but I was a lot of work for a period of time, so it's no wonder why I'm here in this moment. But but I'm doing better now.
Yes, absolutely. I actually I agree with you 100%. Yes. I was a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm a different kind of work now.
Yes, exactly. Different kind of work.
I like to think better work. I don't know. Well, Lynne, this has been amazing. We are up at our time for the allotted time for Coffee with Humans.
Yes.
Is there anything that I'm going to throw you on the spot here. Is there anything that has stuck out to you or that you want to pass along to our viewers and listeners as we're kind of winding down here?
Oh, yeah, you really did put me on the spot here.
I know. I felt that too when I was asking. That's why I asked it a very, very long way, and I'm consuming more time now to allow you to think about it. And go
back to our comment earlier. You know how you look back at a conversation and go, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. Yes, that'll be me in the next hour. Oh, that's what I should have said when he stumped me.
Well, then I expect you then to do TikToks on it and give us those pearls of wisdom because you have them.
Awesome. Jason, it has been an absolute pleasure today. Thank you so much.
Well, we can do it again sometime if you like.
Absolutely. I would love that.
Well, to our viewers and listeners, this is another episode of Coffee with Humans with my new friend, Lynne Karlowich, who met me on TikTok. I cannot even, that's the first time I've ever said that, and I cannot even say what it impacts me in. TikTok. But you know what? It was unexpected that I was on there, and it's great to meet you. And that's been unexpectedly wonderful as well. So to our viewers and listeners, catch us next time on Coffee with Humans, where strangers become friends. I've also never said that before. A candid live talk show. Be your best friend today?
Be your best friend today.
Okay.
One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the raw conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls.
This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.